everyone. It's Brian Lohnes from the NHRA on Fox, continuing our championship conversations. This time it is with Matt Smith, who is now a five-time world champion in the Pro Stock Motorcycle division. Is there a more beautiful sentence than that, Matt?
No, there's not. To get 5 championships is just amazing. I mean, when you start doing this stuff, your goal is to win one, and much less have 5 of them is pretty awesome.
So we know you didn't remove the brakes to save weight during eliminations on Sunday. Let's talk about that trip into the sand, because you entered at a pretty high rate of speed. You were able to keep the bike upright, and I'm sure that was really instrumental in being able to come back and actually win the race. So walk me through that whole situation, because it looked pretty hairy.
I noticed my brakes faded pretty good on E1, but it wasn't that bad. And, you know, we're going up to run on jail next round, and to me, that was the determining factor of I had to watch Eddie. I knew Eddie and Steve were going to run before us. So I kind of knew if Eddie beat Steve and I lost to Angel, that Angel was going to beat Eddie next round. So I knew that I had to get everything out of the bike that I could. So I told him, he says, "You want me to put brakes on it?" And I said, "No, just leave them off. I'll get it stopped one more time, and then we'll put some pads on it for the semifinals if we won that round," because they tend to slow you down just a little bit. They get a little bit more drag. And I knew I needed every little bit that I could, you know, for this next round. It was very important. So, but what ended up happening was the left side brake pad came apart. The material separated from the metal. And as soon as I hit it, they were there. And then all of a sudden they just disintegrated. And I just kept pumping, and nothing would ever come back in at that point. And it was, my whole focus was when I saw my wind light come on, and then I knew I wasn't going to get stopped, and I was like, keep the bike upright. Just keep it upright. Don't tear this thing up to where we can't attempt to make a pass in the semis. But I kept it upright, and you know, somebody told me I started the year off in the sand. I ended it in the sand.
Yeah, when you went up to accept the championship trophy on stage, you looked like you just got off like a trials ride in the woods, let alone off a Pro Stock motorcycle. But what I thought was great was when you jumped off the bike, you immediately flashed our camera the 5, which I thought was really cool. And how close was the thrash to get the thing turned around for the next round, or was it just a matter of hosing things down and wiping things off?
No, so I'll back up and tell you real quick a little short version of everything. So when I got off the bike, I was pissed. You know, I was had my head down, and I was so mad. And then I looked around, and there's a cameraman looking at me, and he's waving his arms like this, just waving at me, and trying to get my attention. And I looked up there, and I waved back. That was my first thing. I waved back. Then I did the 5, you know, to him. But you know, after getting the championship speech and all, or the championship, you know, award down there with Glenn Cromwell and Amanda Busick, I had to get in the truck. Well, my bike was sitting there with all kind of crap all over it, and it had to go to scales. Well, I rode past scales, and Bob Blackwell was waving at me and all that, and I was waving back, and then I, you know, did my whole thing. When I got back to the trailer, there's no bike there. I'm like, "Where's the bike?" So I immediately, one of my other crew guys came right up to me and says, "Hey, you got to go back down there. They won't let the bike go past Tech." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And so anyway, I don't know why they did this, because we did a driver's weight at Dallas. They took every driver's weight at Dallas. So, you know, in cases like this, if the driver wasn't there, they could still put the driver's weight in and get, you know, let the bike pass, just like Top Fuel and Funny Car does. Well, when I got back down there, I said, "Bob, what happened to the Dallas weights?" "Well, this is a little bit different. This is for the championship." I'm like, "It doesn't matter. If you'd have told me that, I'd stopped." I said, "Now we don't have like 20 minutes to get this bike ready." You know, I mean, 25 minutes already gone past. So they were already telling us, "Hey, you got like 10 minutes to get back up to the staging lanes, you know, because the next round." And I'm like, so we just took everything off the bike as fast as we could. We wiped it down and changed every bearing in the front wheels, the rear wheels, the wheelie bars, had to throw a chain on it, and the bearing support bearing, and put it back together. And we went up there. I didn't even get to put a tune-up in it, and just went back up there, and luckily won that round and got to race in the finals and won that round. So just very stressful, and didn't have a lot of time to do much of anything.
Yeah, that's even crazier. I had no idea about that. I had no idea about the rest of that behind the scenes. I would have figured that the bike would have been back there waiting for you in the pits, but apparently not. My God, that adds a whole nother level to the story. You know, when we look at your season, Matt, was there any time that you felt you were behind the eight ball? Because obviously, you know, the points lead did change hands a little bit over the course of the year. You were always a factor, but was there any point where you thought, man, we got to step up the program here?
No, like I pleaded with Glenn Cromwell on the stage, at Gainesville, I said after what I saw in testing with Angel, how she ran, and I knew more and more people would get the 4-valve motors, out there. I told them, I said, they're fast. They're going to be too fast for us all year long. And they were. They were the fastest, not the fastest, but they were the quickest bikes all year long when they put their tune-ups together and the riders did their job. They were hands down quicker than the V-twins. But we had a great run. They seemed to lose their focus on tuning and riding this summer, and we won a lot of races during that time. We ended up getting 6 race wins this year, and but if you look at the countdown, you had Steve Johnson won 2 races, Angel Sampey won 2 races, and then I won 2 races. So you had Suzuki that won 4 of the 6 races in the countdown. And if that doesn't show you that they have a big advantage, I don't know what does. And that's the main reason why I'm building one, is because I see the potential of what they have. And I felt like we had the best bike through the year. But then once the countdown started, I felt the Suzuki's had the best because, they had learned a lot in tuning and the riders kind of stepped up their game.
One last topic I want to talk to you about, Matt, is the fact that next season, Jimmy Underdahl and Gianna Salinas will be riding Matt Smith Racing motorcycles. How excited are you to have them as part of your group?
My whole goal is to try to get Gianna and Jimmy in the top 10 in points, make them a top 10 player, and let's get them some wins so they can actually run for a championship. So that's my goal, and I'm hoping that we can turn their program around for them and make them a more competitive team, because they've been out there for 3 or 4 years now, running these bikes and just not really competitive. And Mike come and talk to me at Charlotte this year, the first Charlotte, and I told him what I could do, and it was about 4, 5, 6 races later we put a deal together to focus on doing this. And a lot of people don't know, but I was tuning Jimmy's fuel injection bike from Indy to Dallas till they quit. And we picked that bike up and kept making it faster and faster. So that's what we're doing right now with Gianna's bike. We're putting fuel injection on it. We're putting a max ECU and all that on there. And our plans were to go test in December, but we've got the trailer being worked on right now at competition, and we're putting a left side door left on and on it so both pits can face each other and just make it more of a complete 4-bike team with 2 18-wheelers facing each other. And we'll probably start testing in January.
It sounds great, Matt. I don't know how great it sounds for the rest of the competition, but it sounds great for the category. And listen, if there's one thing you got from your dad, it is a work ethic that just does not quit. So congratulations on a 5th championship and for working your fingers to the bone, man. It's a very impressive thing to watch.
Thank you, Brian, and I appreciate you having me on here. And yes, we do work hard here, and it's kind of me and Angie in the shop doing all this stuff, and we're going to continue getting our V-twins fast, but we're going to really focus on the next 2 or 3 months of making these Suzukis really fast and see what we can come out with next year.
The Denso Spark Plugs, Mark Soxeth, Greg Butcher trucking bike, as Matt likes to say when he gets those wallies at the end of the racetrack. Thanks for watching. I'm Brian Lohnes. We'll continue our championship conversations throughout this offseason as the news continues to break around the world of NHRA Championship Camping World Drag Racing. Thanks for watching.